We are back. We are back and we are live. And this guy is trying to attack the screen. I had a snack. I did my meeting. It went longer than I thought. And then I did some other stuff to get ready. And now we're back. So, continuing on the docs work. Although this guy might be attacking my screen from time to time. We'll have to see. He had a good long sleep, so he will be restless. I have to look around him. He likes to attack the mouse. I cannot see the thing. Okay, there we go. Right, so where were we? Let's open up this. Let's check out this. Okay, so we want to improve the tables page, and then specifically also the indexes page, which is pretty light on detail. So let's do that. Excellent. I've created the PR for this. Next, I'd like to... Let's separate the pages first. Separate the... which page are they called? Let's see, you're right in the way, my friend. Close these. I'll just stick with that. Okay, so localhost. Whoops. My mouse is moving because of my friend here. How's your... cool. Would you be down to check out my PR for the React hooks? It's like 5 lines, just 5s with the approach. Can do. Can you link it in chat? Are you allowed to link in chat? I think you are. If you see my screen moving, it's because a fool is attacking. But he attacks behind the screen because he does not know what to do. Anyway, there you go. First thing I want to do is separate the column types and constraints. So let's go back to that real quick. I'd like to separate the column. Come on. And constraints page into 2 separate pages. Let's go back to that real quick. Let's just see. So tables is its own page. It does. For the column type page, we'd like to go into greater... Look at this guy. Okay, here we go. We got the PR. I gotta go into greater detail about the other things. So let's see. Support UUID in React Hook where clause. Please do not step on my computer. Sir? Sir? Please? He's obsessed. Let's see. Oh my god. Don't press my stream deck. This is tricky with the cat here. He does not play kindly. Okay. I have to remind myself how this works. Let's see. Why? What? Why would it be called what? I don't understand this because if I'm understanding correctly, UUID is a built-in type, so it's probably underscore UUID, but you have to get the value out of the property. I don't think you can just cast it as UUID. In general, I really try to avoid any casts because they're almost certainly not correct. Vibes, I would say something about this is suspicious. As UUID.asBigInt. Why is this line highlighted? What's going on there? The what is just a boolean for the comparison of the values. Sure, I mean I would just return, yeah, that thing, but also I don't think this makes sense. Expression.value, so v as UUID. The UUID type is libuUID. We can take a look at that, I guess. No, wrong place. So UUID is a product type with one thing that is the UUID and then the value, but you're not accessing the thing. You're just casting it as. Well, let's see. So you're saying if it has a UUID, then cast it as a UUID type. And then .asBigInt. Is that a thing? Oh, that is a thing. It must be a thing here. Okay, so it's not as crazy as I thought. You can create a function that checks if it's UUID and outputs it. Yeah, that's also true. Either one is fine. Is asBigInt a thing on here? It must be. It is. But this is only... So the casting is not going to work because asBigInt is on a class. Right, this is a class, right? It's a class. So just because it has a property UUID does not mean it has the function asBigInt, which is why I really like to avoid doing that. This will work if it is of the right class, but it will not work if it's just an object that has a UUID property. Which might be fine, but I'm not sure. I would rather access the UUID property in that case. So that basically you don't have to pass in a literal UUID type. You could pass in an object which is equivalent. It's always the right class though, because value type defined above is always UUID. If it's, then you shouldn't need to cast. The fact that there's a cast, I think, can be avoided. Because you should be able to know, okay, if this is in fact true, then this must be a class. This must be a UUID. I think you can do this without a cast. Give that a crack. Come back to me. I will take a deeper look. Okay, let's open up the page real quick here. I don't mind just looking at using it as the class, but I think it should. I don't think it requires a cast. Welcome back, John Deere. Indeed. Hello, Mere Hardware. Function is UUID unknown, but I don't think, I just want to be clear. Well, whatever. I think what Kits did is fine, but it needs to take into account. I mean, you shouldn't need the cast. I think you should just be able to look at the type and find, like, what they're saying is correct. That basically, because it's constrained to be a class, you should be able to get it to just do that. Damn, what is code or program life like, or is there a better name for it, like vibe coding? Or program life like? You mean, what is it like to program? Read this. Wow, this is actually correct. This is not correct. It should be, however. No, this is correct. Wow, this is correct. Where is he getting all this information from? This is not correct. This is also not correct. Life rate, that looks great. I have one modification though. This is not really correct. SpacetimeDB implements set semantics, meaning that multiple identical rows are not possible, and furthermore, underscoring the fact that if no primary key is present, the full row is treated as the primary key. Also, we don't really recommend defining a primary key in all cases. For example, if you are not doing index lookups and are only iterating over a full table, then primary keys are likely worse for performance. Let's see. Thanks for the input. Also, I did a little bit of looking into the LLM tests and why they're failing. It's just one interesting build failure I see coming back in multiple PRs. It's the table type being scheduled instead of scheduled somehow. You mean like missing the D? SpacetimeDB maintains set semantics irrespective of whether you define a that's interesting. So we can go let's go look at the docs also after this to see what we actually have on scheduled reducers. So semantics irrespective of whether or not you defined whether you define a primary key. Does it serve as a purpose? Serve purpose to have a CL handle. Not sure what you mean by that. Don't you find the time spent interacting with AI eventually equals the time spent if you're developing yourself? Kind of negates the usefulness of AI in the first place. Sometimes I definitely do find that. I find though that in certain cases, it leads to fewer mistakes because it can read more and make things more consistent. It can do that faster. But I definitely think there are scenarios where it's like, I should have just done this myself from the beginning. No. Okay, fine. Let's do that. Also, let's also test this. Whoa. Does what happens if I have a primary key and I which implies a unique constraint? We should also be very clear about that in the docs. No, hold on. Well, let's just do this. Let's 1 second. Let's also write a small section about the fact that the primary key attribute. I see chat. I'm going to get to you in 1 second. The primary key attribute implies both a unique constraint. Well, implies a unique constraint. No, implies identity and also a unique constraint. We can mention that because it implies a unique constraint, it is implemented via a unique index. The unique index will be created for you. You do not have to also specify the index yourself or separately. If you do specify a separate index, SpacetimeDB will use that one rather than, and will not create one. A separate unique index. Bet you didn't know that, chat. All right, let's see. Yeah, that makes sense, but then my doubt creeps in, so I start to reverse engineering the output to make sure nothing creeps out without me knowing. Kind of adds to the interaction. Maybe that's just me. I mean, I definitely feel that. I know exactly what you mean. Already check the docs, and the LLM task file are correct and say it correctly. I guess some bias the LLM has. You probably specifically have to tell it not to do. Well, we can put that in the, like, the cursor rules files and stuff. Okay, let's see. Primary key implies two implicit guarantees. Identity. The primary key notifies the identity for rows for updates and deletes. Unique constraint. No two rows can share the same primary key value. Because of the unique constraint, SpacetimeDB implements unique index. The index is created automatically. You don't need to define it separately. So I guess we do have that already in code here. Fine. Please get rid of that m dash. Okay, let's see what we've got. Localhost. Why do I have so many things open? Okay. Column types. TypeScript, bingo. Primary keys. Rules. One row per table, given with one primary key column. Let's also talk about let's also speak about multi-column primary keys. Specifically, we should mention that SpacetimeDB does not yet support multi-column primary keys. And although there is nothing like fundamentally a problem. No fundamental problem with them, we just don't do it yet. And we should suggest a workaround for not having them, perhaps an auto ink. Alright, let's see. SpacetimeDB does not yet support multi-column composite primary keys. There is no fundamental limitation preventing this feature. It simply hasn't been implemented yet. I wouldn't... Fine, I'll just say that. If you need to uniquely identify rows by multiple columns, you have a few options. Use an auto-increment ID, add a synthesis primary key, force unique design naturally. Use unique constraints. Mark the columns as logical as unique. That's also true. Doesn't have the unique constraint. Can we please show the use of a multi? Do we support multi-column unique constraints? We do support unique. Does anybody know? We have multi-column indexes. These are the types of things I don't remember. That's why we work on the docs. We do not have multi-column unique values. Let's see. Is that how we do indexes? No. That's definitely how we do it in TypeScript. That's how we do it here. Let's do. Yeah, we should have this here. Multi column index. This is the syntax. Unique index. We're going to get to unique indexes later. We don't support multi-column unique indexes. The unique index is just a hash table where the keys are guaranteed to be, not a hash table in this case, it's B-tree, but it's basically a map where all the keys are unique. Okay, that looks good to me. Let's take a look at the code. Let's take a look at what we got. Okay, so tables. Column types. So tables, we've got this. We'll improve that. Column types, we've got this. Primary keys, we've got this. One per table. Multi-column primary keys. It's not used for multi-column. There's no column rows. Workaround. If you need to look up rows by multi-columns, use a multi-column B-tree combined with auto-increment primary key. Efficient lookouts by column combination while using simple auto-increment as the primary key. Primary keys versus unique columns. Both primary keys and unique columns enforce unique lists, but they serve different purposes. Row identity, data integrity, count per row 1, multiple allowed, update behavior, delete and insert, in-place update. What does that mean? Oh, I see. Because of the identity. Are they required? No, they're both required. That's a great, I don't know who did this, but that's a great table. Welcome back. Are you going to make this a thing more often? Cool project like this, I'm sure we'll do with a quick algorithm, especially for Rust devs. I think so. I'm going to try to keep this rolling. I'm just going to we're going to vibe. We're going to vibe until SpacetimeDB is the easiest thing to use. And that's just what I'm going to do. So we're gonna roll on it just as much as possible. This is a great table. Don't know who added this, but it's good. Is SpacetimeDB open for contributions? Can we get hash set and hash map table fields? You mean a hash index of some kind? Yes. So if you were in Twitch, I don't know how to do this in YouTube, but let me give you the link to the GitHub. Here's a link to the GitHub. You want to give that a start? Check it out. Yeah, SpacetimeDB is source available. You mean like programming on Twitch as a way to go about things, or just mean like we're gonna grind until it's usable? Were you already a Rust dev before you started SpacetimeDB, or did you do research and find that Rust was the best option, as opposed to other options? I was not a Rust dev. We started in 2019 or 2018. It was originally written in TypeScript, and we switched to Rust when we were going to make it like for real. And there was only really one option. So it was there was C. We could have done C. We could have done C++. We really didn't want to do C++ for security reasons, and also for just whatever. It's not the most fun. Or Rust. And Rust was the clear choice there. I would also say other languages like Odin and Zig and Jai or whatever were not available. Jai is still not available to choose at the time. But I think I would, even today, I would probably still choose Rust, because you have to understand that SpacetimeDB is a multi-tenant database, and so memory errors are really important. Like, for example, Tiger Beetle, they use Zig. And I think that makes sense for their use case, and they're very, very serious about testing and correctness. But they're not multi-tenant, so they have different types of security problems. Put it that way. Auto-incrementing IDs, common pattern. Identity is primary key. Sure. Excellent. That makes a lot of sense. You know what? We just created this. ChatGPT, Claude made this table. And it's a great table. I wish I could like give Claude my Figma documents and tell it to like style the tables. Better? Let's actually see what we can do here. Yeah. Okay. Check this out. Let's get Claude. I find that I can't paste an image when I'm streaming. I wonder if that's intentional. Or maybe I've done it on Windows. I must have. I wonder if anybody knows that. Thank you for answering that. That's information which can help devs really have a good understanding of the concept. Yeah, I think Rust is a great language, to be honest. I don't think it's... Some people claim solves all your problems. I don't think it does. But it's good. I don't feel like I'm slogging through building a database, so that's good. So can we get like... I really want to be able to paste this thing in image. How do I do that? Okay, new plan. We're gonna do this. We're gonna save it to my downloads. drag it in. That didn't work at all, but let's try it. Here's a picture of another table we have on the website. Could we style our tables similar to this? It uses the colors N1, N4, N6, and green. Control-Shift-V. No dice. Let's try it. No. But that ain't right. The borders are white and the headers are darker than the body. Maybe I have something on the website already. We're going down a rabbit hole. Are SpacetimeDB open? Let's see. I mean, Vec as field type are supported. Hash set are planned. So Vex as field type is supported. Hash set I'm not. Oh, you need to store in a column. Oh, I see what you're saying. They are definitely on the roadmap. I don't know where they are on the roadmap. Let's put it that way. Let's take a look at this now. Not good. I want to be able to show it what it looks like. I think I might end up aborting this and just doing it myself. Even though that's not vibe coding. Well, actually, let's see what this does. Much better. Still have that white line between the... Okay, that's much better. Try light mode? What do you mean by light mode? Oh my gosh. Ultimus Rex is playing OpenFront. A little tempted to join that stream. Would also like to do, let's see, Clover Lab Space. Okay, let's see. That looks pretty good. What do you think? Looks pretty good. Do they have? Should we have rounded corners though? Let's look at what. I think we should. Let's give it a border radius though. Yeah. Give it some of that, and we'll give it some of, let's see. Back, I want to go to this. Like on the, what is the other page called? The functions page. See how that does. We are gonna grind through the docs. They are going to be beautiful. They are going to be perfect. This is actually what I should have given it, actually. Let's try that. Whoopsie. I don't know that the... Yeah, that's, I mean, that's, I guess this follows the pattern that's in our... Well, let's see, let's look. What about the check marks? Yes. Let's try that. I have a feeling this is going to be heinous, but we'll see. Hold on, let's see. 1 second. I'm going to use the exact checkbags used on the website. We are still updating docs. We will update docs until we die. We will make the docs very good. We are updating docs now and forever. All right, do I have to like restart it? Let's try that. Oh well, you know what I do? Can we update the ooh? You're editing file. That's weird. Now that's doing a lot. It's doing a lot of writing. That looks correct. Yeah, let's do that. All right, let's take a look. Come on, baby. Ooh, ooh, beautiful. Beautiful. What do you guys think? Look at these check marks. These beautiful check marks. All right, chat. Who wants a leak? We can read a proposal, but only if chat asks for it. Some of the best check marks in the business. I couldn't agree more, Z Delivery Guy. I couldn't agree more. Hold on, don't views run in a transaction by default? They don't update things, so it doesn't really make any sense, but... Actually, you know what? Can we add a check to views running in a transaction? I want it to be clear that the isolation properties apply to views for their duration as well. All right, we're looking for a proposal. All right, we've been requested. All right, we're gonna expose something here a little bit here on stream. I'm gonna pull this up. All right, let's look at it with the rich text. So this is a proposal that we have internally for adding organizations. So you guys know about orgs because we announced it. It's on the pricing page. If you don't know how they're gonna work, let's find out how they're gonna work. I've already talked with Alessandro about this, but let's take a look. Okay, so the goals. We want to offer SpacetimeDB users a way to group users and databases into an organization that allows for the following features that are currently missing. Having the concept of permission roles for users in an org that apply to all databases inside of that organization. Give the user within the org permission to all databases within the org. Seems like a similar one. Give user with the org permission to publish new databases inside the org. Constraints. The solution should not require the implementation of the database namespaces proposal, which is another proposal that we have. Spoiler. Non-goals. We do not add organizations to SpacetimeDB standalone. Do not need to add them. Proposed. On the website. On the website, users create organizations by navigating to the billing page and upgrading to the main cloud team plan. As part of this process, they provide the organization name and become an organization owner and navigate to the organization under blah. Very similar to the profile page of a user, but it lists the databases. The org pages are public, but databases under the org are only visible to users with appropriate permissions. Org admins can navigate to the org settings page, which is similar to the user account page with the following differences. Profile page becomes settings and contains. Organization name, editable. Space and identity, the members, the energy usage, which is the same, the billing, and the buy energy, which is only accessible to these two people. Cool, it makes sense. Each database collaborator gets a new section called Org Collaborator that shows all users have access to this database via the organization roles. Makes sense? Members within an organization have the exact same roles that collaborators can have on a database. Semantically, the roles have near identical meanings to the collaborator roles, except that instead of applying to a single database, they apply to all databases owned by the org. The owner has permissions on all org databases, can publish databases to the org, can add members. Admins can do the same. Developers can publish, and view has viewers. So it's basically this plus publish is what the difference. Proposed solution. Detailed implementation. Add a new table in the control database called Organization Collaborator, long name, which is very similar in definition and meaning to the collaborator table. Interesting that it has a... Let's switch to this because I want to add a comment. Should this be an identity? Although I might talk about that. And then, hold on, we skipped a bit. The table contains that are allowed to collaborate on the specific domain. They are allowed to interact with the databases owned by it as well as they are owned. Additionally, we'll have a table called organization that associates the organization name with an identity. Okay. Please don't review my PRs live. I won't. This is a special occasion. Why? we were going to ask a question. Should we even store the names in SpacetimeDB at all? Dude, I don't believe we store usernames. SpacetimeDB. Do we? Should we store the org name in SpacetimeDB? Okay. Basically, allowed to collaborate. Additionally, have to have the organization. When a user publishes or in general tries to perform any permissioned operation, they are allowed, if they own the database, they are a collaborator with the appropriate permission to the database. They are a collaborator on the organization that owns the database. Spacetime Publish will also now allow to publish a new database that is owned by an identity that is different from the identity of the caller with the following syntax. Spacetime Publish DB name organization name, which publishes a new database and sets the owner identity to the specified organization. One thing I will throw out is that let's see. Why didn't they just introduce a new name for collaborator on the org level? I would say that yes, that would make it easier when you display them on the dashboard. But wouldn't they just exist in Postgres? Right, the dashboard will have the organization name. Not on Postgres. I just mean not in SpacetimeDB. Because then if it's also in Postgres, now we have to keep it up to sync, like in sync. But if it's only in the database, that's in SpacetimeDB, that's fine. Let's see. We'll also now publish a new database that's owned by identity, different from blah, blah, blah. Publishes a new. It's allowed the publishers to collaborate with the organization with the developer or higher role. Publishing to an existing organization database should ignore the org parameter. It has the following permission. I would say it doesn't ignore it, but it does assert that it is correct. That is to say, if the org not the owner of the database, it returns an error. Check if the publisher is a DB owner, check if the publisher is a DB collaborator, check if the DB owner is an organization, check if the publisher is a collaborator with developer role or above. Reducers. The control DB will, the following new reducers will have I'm gonna delete this one because I said it above. Basically, you can upsert an organization collaborator, delete one, you can create one, create an organization, which can only be done through the website. That's what this means, basically. And you can rename one, which can only be done through the website, which is what this means, basically. Creating organizations. Only Control-DB admins can create new organizations called the create producer, unique and blah, blah. Maximum of 39 characters. Cool. Website Postgres. While we considered creating a new table for organizations, we said add a column user called organization name. Interesting, I didn't know that. Which, if not null, means that the user should now be treated like an organization. All existing logic for attributing energy usage based on metrics uses the user table. Okay, it's a little odd, but makes sense. Interesting. Makes sense. Alternative would be to split out the user table, but I can see that that would be a lot of work. Which could be deferred. Upgrading to team. When upgrading to the team plan, we create a new user row in Postgres and mark it to be an organization and generate a new identity for it. When we then create the organization in the Control-DB and insert the note, if we have the name in Postgres, we'll have to keep it up to in sync inside SpacetimeDB. I would think that instead we would either store just the identity in Postgres and then both identity and name in SpacetimeDB, or just store the identity in SpacetimeDB and the identity and name in Postgres. When upgrading to the team plan, oh, you know what? I think we do put usernames, or we were going to because of the namespacing proposal. When upgrading to the team plan, we create a new user row in Postgres and mark it to be an organization, creating a new identity for it. Names. While in the Control-DB, the organization is lowercase ASCII characters and numbers separated by dashes. The organization name in Postgres can also contain uppercase letters and spaces. When choosing an organization name, labs, however, it's automatically converted to local labs when creating the organization's Control-DB name. The Control-DB should be exposed to users when they choose the organization name. You should call the URL name in the UI. Billing will only be available to organization owners. Future work. Concept of billing admin, which is going to be a concept outside of SpacetimeDB. I'm not a fan of having to look up org's information in two places, Postgres and SpacetimeDB. What do you mean by that exactly, and in what capacity? Well, everything can't be in there because we store the energy metrics in Postgres, so we need to track energy for it. Alessandro is suggesting that we use the name as a primary key, kind of. But I think that's probably incorrect because the name can change, but whereas the identity cannot. So I think the identity should be the primary key, and the name should just be there along for the ride. Okay, this looks really good. Left my comments live. Nice. Took a little trip into proposal land. So yeah, orgs are coming. They're going to be fun. We're pleased about that. Yes, I want to add the checkbox. Let's also add a note about it. Shouldn't say view, but execution. I wonder if we should change the font inside the tables. What is... This is source code. What do we do in general? I think we use value, like, right? Not always, it turns out. But it's font size 12, whereas what's this? For some reason it feels bigger. Maybe it's not. What do we have in this? What size is that? No, that's 16. Well, that's I think what it is. Okay, so tables. So we have column types. Okay, next we're going to do that is actually an important note. What is under the functions thing? Views. Nice. So they're deterministic. They don't write to tables. They don't do these things. Bingo. Bingo. That looks good. Okay. Now. What was I going to do? I want to make it so scheduled to tables. I think the reason why scheduled tables as the name is confusing is because you don't schedule the table, you schedule the reducer with a table that includes a schedule. I think that's why the LLMs get mistaken, and I kind of agree. So the table schedule, the reducer in the table is called send reminder. Okay, let's just make these changes without changing any code in the docs. Let's rename scheduled tables to schedule tables. Son of a gun. Where the idea is that the tables themselves store schedules, and the things they schedule are scheduled reducers. Let's try that. It's doing fine, I would say. I call them timer tables, but that's not actually right. Let's make a note in the appropriate place that the code for defining a schedule table uses schedule. What's the schedule table? Should I not do this? Chat, is this a mistake? With a D, because what is being scheduled is a is a read function. Does Chad have an opinion on whether these tables should be called scheduled tables or schedule tables? No, the scheduled blah blah parameter in the table. This tells it blah blah blah. Each schedule table, schedule ID, and a schedule at, I think should be, right? Scheduled at. Sure, that seems fine. Hello, are you back? Let's also add to the table page a table, a section called why tables, which describes the philosophical reason why SpacetimeDB as represents data as a table. Relevant reading is the Zen of SpacetimeDB page in the docs, and also this blog post. In general, we view that tables are to SpacetimeDB what files are to Unix. Tables are the basic unit of operation. notably, tables are more general than files, and you can store a file. And if you want to store a file, you can have a single column, single row, well, indeed, whereas Unix needs the concept of a file system in addition to files, in SpacetimeDB, the representation of tables and their schemas are bootstrapped and themselves hosted inside tables called the system tables, e.g. st table and st column. You can even query these tables on your own databases, although you are encouraged not to modify them. Although technically you can. I would say that is advanced usage. Go ahead and fetch that content. Go ahead and read my glorious blog post, Claude. Tell me what you think. More like dangerous usage. I guess, I mean, we've done it before. We need to fix up somebody's, like, messed up state. Advanced. There's no dangerous usage. Okay, let's see. Why tables? Tables are to SpacetimeDB what files are to Unix, the fundamental unit of data organization, but tables are more powerful than files. Where Unix requires the concept of a file system, in addition to files, SpacetimeDB is a fully self-describing representation of tables, and their schemas are themselves stored in tables called the system tables. This isn't just elegant, it's practical. Oh, thank you, ChatGPT. Get that out of here. Let's see. Don't say phrases like this isn't X, it's Y. Also, let's go into greater detail about the best practices of organizing your data into tables as laid out in the data-oriented design article, general paradigm. I think people can be afraid of a lot of small tables because they're a pain to join together in SQL, but in SpacetimeDB, where you are interacting with the tables in a programmatic context and with extremely low latency, the usability is much better. Joining is just an index lookup, and that is extremely fast. I found the Italian model to mimic textbook-like tone for docs, removes all of the LLM isms. That's a good one. I would like you to mimic a textbook-like tone for stuff. Let's go ahead and accept that. And let's just try this. Sure. That's fine, but I would like to prefer the active voice. That's great, but please prefer active voice. That's, I think, a better general style, so thank you very much for that, X. Lookup's complete in nanoseconds, actually, not microseconds. Minor change. Lookups complete in nanoseconds rather than microseconds in many cases. This was better than what's there now. Let's look at this page. In the DAX, schedule tables. Let's also ask generally at VB at I am thinking I would like to rename scheduled tables to schedule tables in the docs. Drop the D. This is because it seems to confuse LLMs a bit. And me as well. It reads as though the table is scheduled rather than the reducer being scheduled. I propose no code changes. I think the current is still correct, but I would like to rename what we call them. Do either of you. All right. Let's see. Let's go back to tables. Tables. Tables are the way to store data in SpacetimeDB. In data, all data is stored in memory for extreme low latency and high throughput access. SpacetimeDB also automatically persists all data to disk. Why tables? Tables are the fundamental unit of organization, just as files are the fundamental unit in Unix. However, tables possess greater generality than files. Unix requires a separate file system content to organize and describe files. SpacetimeDB, by contrast, describes itself. It stores the representation of tables and their schemas in tables called system tables, such as ST-table and ST-column. You can query these system tables directly. Tables and data-oriented design. The relational model underlying tables represents the logical endpoint of data-oriented design. Patterns such as entity component system implement a strict subset of the relational capabilities. Tables give you the full power of relational theory. Over 50 years of proven techniques for organizing and querying data efficiently. The central principle of data holds that the purpose of any program is to transform data from one to the other. Tables provide a principled, universal representation of the data, giving you efficient access through indexes, data integrity through constraints, flexible queries through relational operations, real-time synchronization through subscriptions. For further reading, see design of SpacetimeDB. Table decomposition. A common concern when designing with relationships, whether to consolidate tables, blah, blah, blah. See you in a bit. Is whether to consolidate data into a few large tables or distribute it across many smaller ones. In traditional SQL databases, joins require verbose query syntax and incur significant execution costs. This friction pushes developers toward denormalized schemas with fewer, wider tables. SpacetimeDB operates under different constraints. Your reducers interact with tables through programmatic APIs. The join operation reduces to an index lookup. You retrieve a row from one table, extract a key value, and use that key to find related rows in another table. With all data resident in memory, these lookups are often complete in nanoseconds. Consider the following schema for a game application. Player, we got all these different things. Decomposed approach. Player, player state, player stats, player settings, player resources. Reduced bandwidth. Clients subscribing to player positions do not receive updates when settings change for an application with 1,000 concurrent players. Cache efficiency. Semantic clarity. Each table contains a single responsibility. Schema evolution. Guiding principle. Organize your data by access pattern, not the entity it describes. Keep your data you read together in the same table. Separate data you read at different times or different frequencies. That's actually great. That's a genius idea. Defining tables. Blah, blah, blah. Table visibility. Excellent. This looks great. Let's commit it. This looks excellent. Let's commit it. Also, well, push. So we've done Y tables. Let's make a few minor additions to the same page. Let's add a small section about how how tables separate the physical representation of data from the logical sort of access patterns, thus allowing SpacetimeDB to change the physical representation of the data for performance reasons without you having to rewrite your code. This is a general property or goal of the relational model. An example would be how you can add an index to a table. To change the performance characteristics of accessing rows without needing to change the queries to access those tables. Rows, whatever. Put lookup in O of blank time. Generally, nanoseconds doesn't say much. True, although it depends on the. We'll do that in the index page, I think, because that's really what you want to have a table that breaks down the access times. Minor change to what you have there. The reducer has access to a physical API. The queries subscriptions use the relational model in the future. Don't put this in the article, but in the future, we will make a query builder API available to the reducer. invariant to index. Like, I could write these docs myself, clearly. Indexing, we add indexing, organize the data. It builds an additional data structure to accelerate lookups. Change the same query that previously scanned the entire table, now use index to improve your performance of the schema, not the queries. I like that. The independence depends beyond indexes. You can change internal storage formats, memory layouts, and access patterns. Beautiful. Beautiful. Ditch the M dashes. Looks great. Ditch all the M dashes. Maybe something along the lines of, since you only access memory of your local machine, the lookup table will be very fast. Actual speed depends on the index, which would be big table of, or more memory of your database. So the reason I want to put nanoseconds, not that it will always take nanoseconds, because it does not, depending on the size of your row and whatever. It's that I think in people's minds, they think, oh, databases are very slow. They couldn't possibly do nanoseconds. And if I put microseconds, they're going to be thinking 999 microseconds, not 1 microsecond. And I think that's incorrect. So I would like to keep nanoseconds for that reason. Okay. Let's look at my to-do list again. Let's have the visibility section link to the table access permissions page and talk about view functions briefly. Let's also have a brief section about constraints and link to the constraints page. Possibly, well, the same for schedule. Okay. Now, I want to take a quick look at this. I do have a page. I am thirsty. This is like old water or whatever. Plastic. That seems fine. How does chat feel about the order of these? I feel like it's weird to have tables and then talk about column types. And also, how can we improve the column types page? I wonder. What do you guys... I think that there's many questions about... Like, let's see. Structured types, row, enum, we have array, I guess. That's probably vec in Rust, yeah it is. Should I somehow put this in one giant table? Because it's a little weird being broken up. Or should I reduce the size of these headers? I don't know. True, although I think the things that are like, I don't know, do people expect you to be able to do I-128? Is that implied? The reference stuff should be moved to a reference section outside of the flow of explanations. There are several possible links to this page, but lower. I mean, we do have a reference, like we have references and we have like HTTP API, which this all could use some love as well, to be honest. Add another type instead of the headers. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Let's try that. We'll just see if we can kind of put this in here, and we'll leave column types at the end of the things. Okay, let's go back to this. All right, excellent. Commit and push. Let's modify the column types page. I would like to combine, combine everything we have into a single table with maybe another column which explains whether or not it is, or sort of what type it is. Composite, primitive, etc. Then I would like to modify the intro section of this page to talk a bit about representing types in SpacetimeDB, e.g. the trade-offs of representing lists as a table or as a vec array. Specifically, I generally find in SpacetimeDB that when you want to treat something as an atomic unit, that a vec is better. And otherwise, a table is better, but it's not universally true. E.g., an inventory is always modified. Or when ordering is very important. Inventory as in ordering a game has pockets which are ordered, and multiple pockets are modified in a single operation. Generally, what are your thoughts about this also? Let's see. WebSocket protocol description would be nice under a reference. It really would be, wouldn't it? The docs framework, this doc was super helpful for me organizing docs for other orgs. What is this? It's a way of thinking about doing documentation. Content, architecture, and form that emerge from a systematic approach to understanding the needs of documentation users. Diataxis identifies 4 distinct needs. Tutorials, how-to guides. This is great. We should have streamed more earlier and often. Places in the systematic relationship. Okay, yeah, 1000%. Putting this in references. Okay, let's also add a section about how you might consider storing a file in a column. Specifically, the fact that SpacetimeDB has appropriate optimizations for storing vec-u8 or corresponding binary representations of data in a column. So it's also fine to store blobs, binary blobs. Let's also add a performance, whoops. Section about preferring smaller types, noting that SpacetimeDB performs as smaller types. Well, actually, it's not really smaller types and fixed sized types. Noting that SpacetimeDB makes these types, makes reading and writing these kinds, well, these kinds of types especially fast, because by taking advantage the memory layout of those types. This applies in all languages. Diataxis, that's a great one. I should read that. Type performance. Smaller types, fixed size types. Yes. Yes, but let's also talk about what's it called? Alignment, alignment, and padding, providing a general recommendation to order larger types first. Also note that this is not something to be followed religiously, but it can help performance in certain scenarios. Oh no. Well, we'll read it on the page. Binary data and files. SpacetimeDB includes optimization for storing binary data as VEC-U8. Blah, blah, blah. You can... It's cool. Type performance. Optimizes reading and writing by taking advantage of memory layout. 2 factors that affect performance. Prefer smaller types. There's less memory and bandwidth. Storage, speeds of serialization, improves cache efficiency. Prefer fixed size types. Fixed size types... fixed size structs allow SpacetimeDB to compute memory offsets directly. Variable size types require additional indirection. True. When performance matters, consider fixed type alternatives. Use blah blah blah. This is not correct. Like it would be eventually, but it's not right now, so that's fine. Use an enum with a fixed set of variants instead of a string for categorical data. Let's use the word composite instead of structured. Well, are they composite? Are they all composite? Not really, I guess. Well, they kind of are. How do we feel about this, chat? Is this looking better? The M dash is the bane of all AI generated text. It really is. Loves them M dashes. It loves them. I wonder why. let's use the word composite. Use the word composite instead of structured for the types. And let's also reorder the order of the pages. I think that it should be probably primary. I think column types should go after, well, I don't know. Maybe it's fine. Yeah, it looks great. Great share, thanks. The diataxis, absolutely. Is default a constraint? Like, I don't think so. All right, let's look at my to-do list. Constraints, sure. Let's modify the table access permissions table to talk more about private and public tables. So I actually don't think we want to reorder these. I think this is in the right order. Because the first thing you want to know is, okay, I have tables. What can I put in them? Let's also move on to the indexes page afterwards. Please look through the modules test ts, sorry, modules module test, yes, and modules module test. These for exotic examples of using indexes. Let's be sure to document all of those carefully using a textbook style. I wanted to read that and like look through that because I gotta say I cannot remember all the details of the indexes for myself either, and I would like it to figure it out. And we'll see. We'll review it. All right, we'll do that. Oh. You know, I know this is the right decision because it's 1 character shorter, and it's the same number of characters as primitive. Nice. What about at the end of this we show an example? Let's actually also go back to the column types page, and at the end of the page, Let's show an example struct that has a column each type in each of the languages using a That's what I want often. I want like a code example. And the table's fine, but like it doesn't tell me. I can't copy and paste it. How are you guys liking the energy system? All right, let's take a look at this. Unclear what's going on there. This is great. This is much faster than me writing this. This should have been documented 1,000 years ago. It's the documentation that I would like to have read. For multi-column passes tuple values, you can specify. Is it correct though? I'm not 1,000% sure. Probably is. Let's accept it, and I think I have to go and look. I think it's probably range. That's correct. That seems right. Let's look at our new index page. Boys! Fantastic. Okay, one follow-up, okay. Okay. Hold on. We're gonna lose this. Alright, well, we'll just do them in this order, it's fine. Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. Let's do that. Look at that. That is good stuff. Okay. We love that for us. We love that for us. Now, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We are going to go... I want to go back to the indexes. You know, I'd like to verify for sure that this syntax is correct. I'd like to verify for sure that this syntax is correct. Are you sure it's not like new range? How do you create work something? I thought it was. You can look in bindings TypeScript /server you like. Did OpenAI, did DeepMind do recursive language models? That's much less interesting than I thought it was going to be. Man. Did it work? Is this like frozen? I think Claude is no more. Have a good night, kids. Thanks for popping in. Cannot type. It appears to be frozen. I'm not sure, it might still be cooking. Okay, it was cooking. Maybe. I'm not sure what's going on, but something happened. We might have to give up on this. Control plus G to edit a notepad. Interesting. Oh boy. I don't want gaming copilot. No, I pinned it. Oh lord. How do I get rid of my gaming copilot? There we go. Log code is pretty fudged. Come on! Alright, we gotta kill it. We are vibing. Yes, we're vibing. I needed to get the syntax correct. It was I feel like it was vibing a little bit, and I think I needed to get the syntax correct. So we're gonna do this. Ooh, you know what? I think I'd like to raid Theo. I don't really have enough people to do that. We'll still do it. He's looking at the bindings, right? It's weird. Just read. Just go for it. Go for it and read. Just read. Read. Just read. I think we've done a nice job today. So we've taken a look. Let's go out. Let's look at our docs. We got getting started. It's pretty nice. Got all the guides. Gonna have more guides, but we got some right now. We've got this. They now say more. We love that for us. Clean this up. We got primary keys now. We've got constraints. Indexes. Including different types of syntax. Multi-column indexes. We need this to finish, though. You're right to question that. I know I am. The actual API uses a range T with bound objects. Let me fix TypeScript examples. Yeah, you go ahead and you do that. You do that. Maybe it should use those, but it does use this. And now we have it documented. Yes. All right. Oh, are there new interviews planned? By what do you mean by that exactly? I can tell you that I have already done a new interview, and that'll be coming out very shortly. I did it actually before Christmas. All right. Yeah, it's a good one. It's developer voices again. It's you know, the second interview, number 2. Okay. All right. We've done some good stuff here today. Can you write a PR, a description for me, which follows this template? Because I'm lazy. Lazy. Kitty's here. Kitty's here to say hello. Let's open up PR. Pull requests. I'm the author. Should really just have this. Oh, okay. We'll have it write a PR description, and I'll copy that in. We'll be cooking. Did you do WooCache podcast? I did not. I did not, but I would love to. Do you have? I think I've seen the Jonathan Blow version. Do you guys have a link to him? I think it'd be super cool to do. I mean, like a link, like somehow can I get in contact with him? Can you guys mark down, please? Nice. Let's open up this one up for ready for review. I don't think it is, but we'll just keep cooking on it. Maybe we'll submit it. Did the other one merge? Author? I think it did. Must have. Further MISC docs changes. I've seen it on Discord. Is WooCache Podcast on Discord? Yeah, but could I just DM him, you think? Let's try it. What do we got to lose? Do I have to add him as a friend, or is that the name of the Discord? You can DM him if it's open. How would I? Okay, how do I DM him? Because I can't understand Discords. I cannot understand Discord's thing. I sent him a friend request, which I rather would not have liked to have done. A message request? No. Direct message. Create DM. Oh, maybe I can just do this. Yeah, I totally can. No, I can't. I don't think I can DM him unless I'm in the group. Let's see. WooCache Podcast. Discord. That's what I want. I'm launching a private Discord. That would be me. Do I have to be... I have to join the Patreon. Which I could do, but I'm not going to do it live on stream. Mr. Blow ripping on space. Oh, wait! For real? Jonathan Blow talked about SpacetimeDB? Please give me that. I want to see him rip on it. Yes, absolutely. Send it to me. I cannot wait. I have a saying about Mr. Blow, Mr. Jonathan Blow, and it's that he's not always wrong. And it's true, he's not always wrong. He's actually a very intelligent person who is not always wrong. Please give me a link to that. I wish... Hold on. Google this. Where did we get that? I need this in my life. I need this in my veins. I cannot wait. Maybe it's just random when I open a stream. Probably 1 to 2 weeks ago. Someone must acquire this for me. Please, please! I need to hear him say that it's bad. I need it. I needed to inject it into my veins. Hope it's not just on his VOD or something. Let's... Jonathan Blow on SpacetimeDB is what I just searched up. There's this, but I don't think it talks about... It's going to be hard to find. Can I SpacetimeDB? Is it in the comments? Or was it on stream? Why is this coming up? Maybe I can just do this. I didn't think he'd even heard about it. This is interesting. Collected in a group of things. Need it. Need it, need it, need it. In the context of data orange design, he has? No, he hasn't. Positive light during a Q&A session? He has? No, he hasn't. This is nonsense. I think he has some very interesting takes in general. He's a little bit. All of Twitch isn't indexed by SCV yet. Years, I bet. No, I'm so sad. What did he say? Do you know? Do you remember? He was hitting on some promises. I don't know where he found it. I mean, that's fair. That's his whole thing. Is he doesn't like fancy named things, but I think you might not know that we're working on it for 8 years, and that we shipped our game on top of it. Oh, please. All right. I'm gonna rate out to Theo, I think, who is aware of SpacetimeDB. See what he has to say, if anything. I'll have a look. If you can find it, you're a legend. Also, no problem if you can't. I'm gonna rate it to Theo. Take a look at him. I think he might have some interesting stuff to say about SpacetimeDB very shortly. So, something to keep an eye on. I will talk to you all later. Gotta eat. Bye.
$5.9 billion tokens. Jesus Christ. Oh shit, SpacetimeDB with the raid. How are you guys doing? Hope y'all are doing well. Congrats on all of the recent success and the TypeScript releases too. Cowork is really interesting. I have not used it yet. I've been using Claude Code similar to how Cowork works. So, yeah. Happy to see you guys. Let me thank all the subs I missed as I was getting started. Sorry again for all the delays, guys. It's been a chaotic year, honestly, but the last couple days have been rough, especially while I'm sick. Thank you, CD Dev, for the 12 months getting us started, as well as the anonymous gift to Maria. Thank you both for that. 39 months total from CD. Legendary. Another anonymous gift to Abdul. Thank you for that. Bot Cooper, the fucking legend. 6 months into the tier 3, 41 months total. Tech Brew Boss with the 4 months of Prime. Appreciate that. Jiraj with the 41 months, a year of tier 3. Fucking legend out here. Dan Vale with the 21 months of support. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. I owe you a response DM. I am still sick and don't want to get anyone sick. That's why I haven't responded, but hopefully I'll be good soon. I'll let you know. And Jacob with the 37 months of Prime. Always good to see you. Hope you're doing well and the new gig is treating you good. Yash, the legend, with 31 months of Prime. Thank you so much for the support. Capacitance with the 6 months of support, a year roughly. Good to see you. Dogpaw Hat with the 42 months. Palalatro with the 5 months of Prime. Chess with a 5 bomb getting us started strong. Thank you for that. Matt with the 17 months. Nora with the Prime. Lily with the 19 months, 6 of tier 3. Always good to see you, Lily. Hope you're doing well. Nano Shrine with the tier 1. Arthur with the 4 months of support. Not Everest with the Prime. Ali on the Edge with the Prime. And Stuxnet, always good to see you. Hope you are doing well, girl. 39 months at tier 3, 43 total. San Fran for the duckbill. Oh yeah, I'm sorry we couldn't hang when you were here. You can hear why I wouldn't want to give this to anyone. And we got Lucy Dak with the Prime. Yeah, there's this awful, it's not the flu, there's an awful upper respiratory thing going around everywhere, but especially the Bay. Like almost everyone I know has it or has had it. And honestly, it's not hitting me as bad as others, but I don't want to get people sick, so I'm not going out a lot. Do I have plans to do a video on JJ? Probably, but I want to do a bit more first. Oh shit, you caught it too? I'm sorry to hear.